Since the polls opened at 7 this morning, we've seen pretty constant lines of people making their way to vote. Experts tell us that shouldn't be surprising because we had some very big issues driving people, especially in the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
We want to talk again with Pat Kessler and Abou Amara, who have been helping us understand the scope of these decisions on a local and a national level, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think we really need to take a step back again and remember where we were in May of 2020, which propelled this entire election with the pandemic upon us, the death of George Floyd, the riots, the violence. Abou, we're a long way from where we were, but everything we did tonight is because of that.
That's right. 18 months ago, when George Floyd was murdered, it was a tinderbox on a movement. The question is going to be, now that voters have decided, despite that, how do we continue that energy? How do we continue to mobilize for what I think everybody agrees on, that reform needs to happen, change needs to happen? This is going to be a moment. It's either going to destroy the movement or push it aside, or it's going to take that energy and channel it in a direction that brings more and more people on board. And
everyone watching nationally to what was going to happen in Minneapolis, because we are the epicenter here of the police reform movement. They called it Defunding the Police, which was a terrible slogan for the people who wanted some serious structural reform. They called it that. But now people are wondering if it goes anywhere from here. They've watched us around the country. I wonder if this is a setback for that movement politically. Are people going to be afraid to touch it?
Well, they're going to have to look in the mirror. I think many on the yes side are going to have to look in the mirror and ask themselves, what did we do that wasn't resonating with voters? And in the short term, that could be a setback for those voters. I hope they find unity in the fact that whether you were yes or no, everybody agrees on large-scale reform and changes.
You know, guys, go ahead and go with that for a minute, because my question's a little off the beaten path, and but keep on going.
Well,
on that,
yes. So I'm wondering, you know,
correct.
what Abou's talking about is how you get from to there,
yep,
from here,
right? And
that's going to be the big thing. I wonder, with the divisions in the Democratic Party between the left and the really left, yep, the progressives and the liberals, set aside the Republicans for now. Is there really any middle ground left for the Democrats?
Well, I think there is. I think if you take a look at Eric Adams in New York City, who was just elected mayor, you take a look at Jacob Frey in Minneapolis, I think there's going to be an aggressive push for reform. And let's not forget, the far left, as you're describing them, aren't going anywhere. This is an active movement that has grown over the past couple of years out of Black Lives Matter, out of the murder of many African-American men and circumstances involving police. And so there is this energy. I'm hoping it channels into a productive set of policies, or what's going to end up happening is it's going to continue to itch at the divide in the Democratic Party.
And Frank and Amelia, here in Minnesota, there's a governor's race next year. There's Congress races. Mm-hmm. So this will continue. This story is going to continue to evolve. But I think we should watch the Democrats for sure. But how is this going to develop with the Democrats and then the Republicans jumping in for the governor's race?
Well, let me ask you this then, you know, and I've never talked to either one of you guys about this, but you see online especially a lot of people saying, hey, look, Minneapolis, you made your own bed. You've had nothing but Democratic control for 25 years, all the way through, up and down city government. You created the powerful police union. You kind of made your own bed, and now you're sleeping in it, and then you almost had the ultra Democrats or the more liberal try to come up with this movement tonight. What's the response to them to say, hey, this is your problem? I mean, it's almost like the Republicans can sit back and go, you messed up the city, you deal with it.
Well, you know, I think that's a really interesting take, and all these kinds of takes are valid, and you can believe that if you want, but we have little silos here. We have silos of police brutality and force against young black men driving. We also have people who are unfairly accusing police or putting pressure on police. This is not something that we, quote unquote, in Minneapolis created. It's everywhere around the country. I don't know how you feel about this, Abou.
Well, Frank, to your point, I think so much of the conversation has been
question.
To the question. You know, so much of it has been blaming of saying, okay, you individual, you're responsible for where we are. Well, in reality, we've all inherited a system of laws and policies that go back 30, 40, 50 years. 100 years, right? And now we are trying to tinker at the edges about how do we change that system when we decide that it's not the other person's fault for it, but that we all inherited it. That's the first step to us moving forward together.
Well, let's remember that it was in the 1990s that the Democrats, the tough-on-crime Democrats, with Bill Clinton and virtually every high-level Democratic politician were going after super predators, they called them, which created a prison system. So all of these things are what we're going to be discussing.
And this conversation will obviously continue.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Biden, that got almost cost him an election.
He was the author of the bill.
Right, yeah, he was a big part of it. So very interesting points, guys. Well taken. Thank you.